be dynamic. It's meant to be dynamic, not still. So that's what a chit is. A chit is a knowledge that simply takes us to the wrong direction. So now let me give you an analogy. I like to give analogy because that's how the mind works. The mind is very good with analogy. How many of you drive? You all drive. Of course, how else did you get here? It's very difficult to walk it here. So you all drive. Imagine if in your GPS you put from, let's say, rather than Durham Marg, you put like Radlett to Heathrow. Yes, it'll give you the right direction, but you're not in Radlett. You're in Durham Marg. So it's giving you the right direction, but you're frustrated because you're starting from a point where you're not at. And so therefore, the most unfair thing that every single one of us can do in this world is that what it is that we relate success with the body. But actually we're a spiritual being having a physical experience of life. And that's where the frustration stems from. This frustration stems from the fact that you think you're this body. You think that I'm so-and-so person, and this is what makes me happy. And this is what my relationship is based on. And this is what my happiness and joy is based on. But let me tell you a secret. Happiness in this material world is the absence of suffering. The only reason why you're happy is because there's a temporary period of time where you're not suffering. But how long does that last? How long does no suffering last? Not for long. Because there's 3 types of misery that we cannot get away from. Are you all with me so far? Is this relevant? Do you relate to this? Are you going to do something about it? Okay, good. I trust you all. So there's 3 types of suffering. There's 3 types of misery. Which is what? The misery of the mind. Especially in today's world, I feel sorry for our youth. The misery of the mind. The 3 biggest cancers is the cancer of competitiveness, criticism, and also competitiveness, criticism, and comparing. Yeah. Competitiveness, criticism, and comparison. These are the 3 biggest things, especially our youth experience. But not just youth, everyone. We're always comparing our lives to other people's lives. We're always criticizing because what it is that in today's world, many of us are suffering from insecurity. So therefore, we want to criticize others in order to make ourselves feel better. But there's no space for criticism in spiritual life. When we criticize, it's very difficult to approach a spiritual master. It's very difficult to be inquisitive. And comparison, why is it that, when I first came to the temple, why is it that we compare where we are at with where someone worked hard to be at? Everyone is on a journey. And so therefore, by us assisting other spiritualists in their journey, we're able to actually feel more fulfilled in our own spiritual life. We're able to make progress. We're able to make advancement. And then Krishna guides us to the Guru. You see, Guru is just an external manifestation of Krishna. And they say that actually the devotees are the hearts of Krishna. So therefore, when we get into the habit of criticizing, comparing, and competing with devotees, in one sense, we're hurting Krishna. And so therefore, we are unable to come closer to Krishna. But by us supporting devotees, by loving devotees, by being there for devotees, what it is that we come closer to the heart of Krishna. We're able to understand Krishna. And when we understand Krishna, then we've developed relief and confidence in spiritual life. Then we become more open-hearted. So you see what I mean? Spiritual life, Krishna consciousness is dynamic. It's not a ritualistic. That's what I was going to say earlier on. It's not ritualistic. It's spiritualistic. So therefore, the ritual alone is not what's going to help us to come closer to Krishna. It's the spirit of it. What does that spirit indicate? That we must be compassionate, loving, supportive. When we can do this, then we are qualified enough to be able to approach a spiritual master, a spiritual teacher. Srila Prabhupada said that a spiritual teacher is not there for fashion. It's not just because everyone else I see around me have a spiritual master, so I need to have a spiritual master. No matter what my qualities are, my character is, my personality is, no. We must invest and work on ourselves, and then we are qualified to approach a spiritual teacher. And one of the most extremely dangerous things that I must really repeat to every single one of you is that we have this sort of tendency to become desensitized to problems. You know, there's the analogy of a frog that was on a pot, and the pot was put on fire. And frogs, you can correct me, frogs, they have the tendency to sort of adjust their body temperature. So what happened was that they were the fire was being increased, and the water was getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and the frog would just simply adjust its body temperature in order to be able to feel comfortable in that situation, until the pot was becoming so hot, so then it winded up actually dying and drowning. And that's that's us. What it is that when we find ourselves in situations and circumstances, rather than asking ourselves what requires to be changed, what questions needs to be asked, who do I need to approach this situation regarding, what we instead do is we try and adjust ourselves to become normalized about the situation, desensitized. But that doesn't help the situation. By you seeing something wrong and not doing anything about it or saying anything about it, you're just encouraging that wrong activity. So similarly, if there is a character or a habit within us, but we're not adjusting it, we're just simply encouraging it. So therefore, we must be mindful of this. If there is anything that we can go into with the new year, is yes, I need to be inquisitive, but not only do I need to be inquisitive, what are the qualities that I need to change? What are the things for the last years or so that I've been settling with, that I've been normalizing, I've been desensitizing, but no more? What are the things that are harmful and toxic to my spiritual life? What are the things that are harmful and toxic to my character, my personality? We are such an ananda. That means actually by nature we are full of bliss, jolly, so much knowledge. As a spiritual being, we're eternal. But because we've come into contact with the material nature, we've become influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance. You've all experienced this, right? When you wake up in the morning, you just feel so like in a rush. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to get on with this. And then you become very reactive. What happens sometimes is that you find in a relationship that you may be speaking to someone, and then they may just say something and you may not be happy with it, but then you just rash out. We're a spiritual being. But because we don't understand that, we act in a way that is not attuned to who we really are. Are you all with me so far? Okay. Any question? Okay, fantastic. So, so therefore, yes, so definitely I'll get back to you. It's good. If you have any question, please do ask, because I'm just going to keep this to 10 minutes and then just the rest of the time I'll leave it to Q&A. Actually, they say that when there's a 1 hour class, people tend to forget about the 5 minutes of talk, and they tend to remember that last 5 minutes, because that last 5 minutes is like, oh, the class is finishing, great. Okay, so if you have any questions, please hold it, and then, yeah, literally in 10 minutes, and then you can ask the questions. So I gave you the analogy of the frog. And so therefore, because we have, and so what I was sharing with you about the different miseries, the miseries of the mind, but then the misery of other living entities, you know, it's like sometimes we have a lot of expectations of our spouse or people around us, or even just strangers. We have so many expectations. And expectations usually lead to disappointment. It leads to frustration. So sometimes it's even people that we don't know that may hurt us. And if it's not people that we know that may hurt us, what's going on in the world today? So much calamity, war, misery, so much things, unpredictable. So can we be happy for a good period of time in this material world? No. So therefore, happiness is the absence of suffering. But Krishna is so merciful. Krishna is incredibly merciful. Why is Krishna merciful? Ask me why. You don't want to know, do you? Say it louder. Okay, good. So the people that are asking why are the ones that want to know. The reason why is because Krishna is so merciful in the sense that he has come to this world. You know, sometimes we feel and we think to ourselves that Krishna's abandoned me. Krishna's not in there in my life. I'm struggling, I'm suffering, I'm going through so many difficulties, challenges and situations and circumstances. What is the use? What is the use in Krishna consciousness? What is the use of spiritual life? It doesn't resolve my problems. It doesn't resolve my issues. Things are just getting worse. How many of you felt that way before? Yeah, we all felt it that way. Don't lie. We all felt it that way. Even I feel that way too sometimes. But Krishna is so merciful, because when we ask that I want to see Krishna, I want to associate with Krishna, I want to ask Krishna, why am I going through this? He has come in the external manifestation of a guru. You know, every morning we sing the Guru Ashtakam, and in one of the first, it basically says, Saksha Dharid Vena Samasta Shastre Uktas Tata Bhavyat Evasatpi. I hope I said that right. So, but the first line is basically what it says here is how the spiritual master is a representative of God. It's a representative of Krishna. That's why is he a representative of Krishna? Because he is not concocting knowledge. He is not making knowledge. Then we can talk about the different sort of pranam. So I'm going to just dissect and explain what these words means. Many of us, when we want to understand things in this world, we try and use our direct perception. So if I was to ask you what's happening behind that wall, would you be able to tell me? Would you tell me what's happening? Like, what's literally happening behind that wall? Can you tell me? Unless if you have an X-ray vision. Do any of you have X-ray vision? No? Okay. So we don't have X-ray vision. We're not like Superman. We can see through walls. No. So that's one thing, direct perception. When we try and understand spiritual life with our direct perception, it's very difficult to understand anything. We're very limited. That's number one. The second kind of knowledge is that we try and inferiorize things. Like, for instance, you may be walking near a forest or a hill, whatever, and you see a fire. What is the natural assumption that you may make? Oh, there must be a forest fire. Or there must be something burning. But how do you know it's just a couple of bunch of kids here that are just starting a fire and they just want to, they're going on a barbecue, whatever it is? We don't know. So when we try to understand things with our direct perception, or we try and understand things based on theories of what we know in the past, etc., then our knowledge is very deficient. You can't understand spiritual matters with material mind. We need to refer to what is called Shabda, the highest form of knowledge, which descends down from Krishna to Lord Brahma, and then to our acharyas. You can see, there's a pictures of them, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Gokishore Babaji, Bhaktisiddhanta, Srila Prabhupada. So it goes in a parampara. And when that knowledge comes from a parampara, then you know it's a bona fide knowledge. Then you know it's a knowledge that we can trust. It's not a knowledge that scientists are trying to concoct or make up. So that's why it's important to follow a spiritual master, because they are remaining chaste to a knowledge that is very unique, that is spiritual science, proven. Yeah, like the sun. You may look at the sun, and if I tell you to look at the sun, first of all, you can't even look at the sun. Secondly, you may think that the sun is small, but in reality, it's 10 times bigger than the planet Earth. Do you see what I mean? And when we hear about these things, actually, I'm not trying to put me down, I'm not trying to put you down, but we must realize that actually, yeah, we need to learn to be humble. We're not as smart as we think we are. And that's fine. That's fine. Because humility is the key to spiritual advancement. Like I said to you earlier on, the more you know, the more you actually know that you don't know. And the moment you think you know, that's where pride kicks in. That's where arrogance kicks in. Oh, I know it. And they say that is the three most dangerous words. I know it. Because the moment you think you know it, then you enclose your mind. Arjuna, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the first few chapters, he thought he was really intelligent. He was asking all these wide range of questions, and he was missing the point. But it's eventually when he surrendered, and he said to Krishna, Krishna, I surrender now. Please guide me. Please instruct me in what is the best for me, what I need to do. Then the possibility of him winning the battle, of him becoming closer to Krishna, understanding Krishna, all opened. All the doors opened for him. So how many doors are closed to us right now? Because we think we know it all. How many doors are closed to us? How much of our time are we wasting? How much of our time are we spending? We think we know it all, and as a result of it, we're not progressing in spiritual life. Humility is fundamentally the key to spiritual progress. And even till this day, our saints, those that are advanced, even they say, there's still so much for me to learn. What to speak of us? So therefore, it's really important that when we approach a spiritual master, we approach a spiritual master in the mood of surrender. And who is a spiritual master? One that is well versed on the scriptures of the Vedas. One who is chaste to the message, the instruction of Krishna. And when we can do that, when we can follow such a person and not just surrender. Surrender is very theoretical. But practically speaking, not just surrender, but to serve. When we serve, then what it is that we can cultivate an emotion of devotion. And emotion is what Krishna wants. Too much knowledge alone can harden the heart. Have you ever experienced that? Sometimes in our ashram, what we experience as devotees is like, yeah, we're not the body, we're the soul. And then when you see people are going through suffering, it's like, it's okay, you're not the body, you're the soul. But actually, there's two types of compassion. There's a material compassion, and then there's a spiritual compassion. How many of you have heard of these terminology before? Material compassion is that you may look at someone suffering and you may simply feel sorry for them. You may sympathize with their pain. You may feel somewhat a little empathy. But that's not enough. You may walk on the street and you may see a homeless person, you may pray for them. Okay, that's nice. But how is prayer changing their life? How is prayer transforming things for them? And that's where spiritual compassion comes in. Spiritual compassion enables us to act, to do something. And that's what Krishna consciousness is about. How do we cultivate the highest form of emotion? How do we develop a relationship with Krishna? How do we come closer to Krishna? How do we make a change in this new year? It's through service. When we hear from the spiritual master with surrender, but in simultaneously with that, we also serve, then we are able to experience a transformation of heart, a transformation of character. We're able to understand what it factually means that we're not this body, but we're a soul. Gradually. It's not something that happens overnight. And so that is something that we must also discard, our expectation that we think if I chant now, if I read now, if I hear now, everything will change. Yes, but it will change gradually. Spiritual life is a gradual process, not a quick process. And one thing I always tell people, it's a process that sticks with us and stays with us for life. And so I'll conclude with one last thing and then I'll open up the forum for discussion. Earlier on, when I started the class, there was a particular prayer that I said, Omma Gyana Timandasya, Gyananjana Shalakaya, Chakshuru Militamyena, Tasmeshi Guruve Namaha. What does that mean? So it means that I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my guru, my spiritual master, opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So, what does the word agyan means? It means ignorance. Gyan means knowledge and agyan means ignorance. And every single one of us are actually suffering from ignorance. At least I can say for myself, for a very long time before I joined the temple, before I came across Srila Prabhupada's books, I was suffering from a lot of ignorance. And what is the consequence of suffering from ignorance? We suffer. You know, sometimes they say that ignorance is a bliss. But actually, when we make decisions and choices based on ignorance, there's still a consequential result. It's not just that, okay, I didn't know of this, but I tried my best. They say actually the path to hell can be paved with a good intention. If you have a good intention, but you don't have a sober wisdom, knowledge, then you may do something that you feel is right, but it may factually turn back on you. So we apply good intention, but with good intention, we apply guidance. Guidance from the spiritual master. Guidance from Srila Prabhupada's books. Guidance from chanting. How many of you chant? Good. Chanting is also good. Chanting allows us to quieten the mind. And then we're able to read and understand. So agyan means ignorance. And so therefore, what it is that how do we transform the agyan to gyan? Through approaching the spiritual master, through following his instructions. And those instructions is chanting, shravanam, kirtanam, hearing, reading. When we read, actually we can associate with Srila Prabhupada. How many of you know of Srila Prabhupada, by the way? I keep saying his name a lot, but how many of you know of him? So Srila Prabhupada is our spiritual master. You can see right there. And he is the one that has actually brought Krishna consciousness to the West. And it was him that this temple that you all come regularly. How many of you come regularly? That you all come regularly, that you take darshan of Shishi Radha Gokulananda and Sita Ram Lakshman. So without Srila Prabhupada, this wouldn't be here. So first of all, Srila Prabhupada, the key. Yes. And Srila Prabhupada's given us that process of chanting, hearing, and associating. And when we do that, that agyan turns to gyan. What it is that Srila Prabhupada has given us the torchlight in which to destroy our ignorance. So I'll leave it there, but before I open up the forum, I am telling you with all my heart, the reality is that in today's world, we don't live with a sense of urgency. We don't. We think that we have every single day, we feel like that day is guaranteed to us. We feel like, yeah, I'll take spiritual life serious when I get to 70. Yeah, it's fine. I've got bills to pay, rents to pay, career to work towards, a wife to get married to, a daughter to get into the right education. Yeah. But when I get to 70, Prabhuji, then I'll read the Bhagavad Gita. Then I'll chant Hare Krishna. Then I'll take spiritual life serious. But you see, Prabhupada said that factually we are all old. What does old mean? Old means we can die at any time. I can drop dead right now, or any of you can drop dead right now. So old means death. And death is inevitable. It's an appointment that we can't miss. So therefore, let's take spiritual life serious now. Why wait for another year? Another year is not guaranteed to us. This may practically be our last time seeing each other. So I'll leave you with that. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask now. Hare Krishna. So you had a question? Mic doesn't work. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good question. So how do we not get affected by the modes of material nature? Krishna says through detachment and practice. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, how do we advance? How do we make progress? How do we become the best version of ourselves? How many of you want to become the best version of yourself, by the way? Raise of hand. What does it mean to become the best version of yourself? It means to be spiritual. How do we become spiritual? Through detachment and practice. The reality is that material world is that I do something and I want the result now. And if I don't get the result, then I move on to something else. But spiritual life, my dear devotees, it's circular, not linear. Circular means you do the same thing again and again and again, and then you cultivate a character. Like when I was living in a temple, every day you do the same thing. You wake up at 3:30, you come for the morning program, you chant 16 rounds, 4 eggs, you serve, you clean, 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 you serve, you clean. How does that sound to you all? Is that a life that you want to join? No. Maybe you, because you're very special. Anyone else want to join? No. Sounds a bit robotic. Sounds like a routine. None of us like a routine, right? But routine is important. If it's the right routine, it helps us to develop a character. It helps us to become more quieter. It helps us to become more calmer. So through detachment and practice, by doing the same thing, but trying to cultivate a different emotion inside, a different feeling inside. Yeah.
So you said detachment, but so the main aim is to stay detached, yet live a normal life like everyone else lives.
Yeah, so detach, yes, of course. So
Detachment means like what?
are you all with me so far first? Okay, I didn't buy into that. Please raise your hands. Yes. Okay. No, I got your question. Your question is that detachment. Yes. So
But how do you can be detached like vairagya, but how do you still carry on living a normal life, like have a, say for normal people who have family or,
it's just don't hold too much expectation to the result.
so it's a detachment is just like vairagya from inside.
Yeah, from within. But you do external. Yeah, you do your duty. That's what our Krishna said to Arjun. Krishna said to Arjun, yeah, that do your activities, do your duties, but don't be attached to the results of your activities. Because with attachment comes bewilderment. And with bewilderment comes of loss of knowledge or intelligence. And with intelligence, you become angry and frustrated, and then you continue that ferocious cycle. So the key fundamental thing is don't be attached to the results of your activity. Chant.
The results, but still be attached in the process. Don't be detached in the process.
Do your
Detachment
duty.
from the,
Do your duty. Yeah, do your duty.
yeah, that's all.
Anyone else?
To still be involved, to do your duty,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. So do your activities, but don't be attached to the results of your activities. How many of you would say you're attached to the results of your activities? Okay, I can see quite a few pure devotees here. Raise your hands if you're attached to the results. And I factually believe everyone is. Go on, don't be shy. I can see some heads nodding. We're all attached. We're all attached to the results of our activities. And that's what causes a lot of frustration. Any other question? Believe it, this is your chance to ask any question that can help you in your life. So don't be shy. And who knows, maybe a question you may have is a question someone else may have, so you have to be the courageous one or the brave one to ask. Shout, shout. Can you shout? Try. Suicide and murder. So you're talking about karma. If everything is written, the thing is, it's a quite a very interesting topic. Even though everything is already sort of written, but we still have the most beautiful thing, which is a free will. So it's like Krishna already knows what we're going to do, but he still gives us a free will and we can choose what we want to do. He doesn't interfere with our free will. It's not like, okay, you've done this, so you definitely have to make this choice or decision. And the most beautiful thing that every single one of you are so blessed with is that you have Vaishnav Sangha. You're here, you get to associate with the devotees, you get to ask, and then the moment you come into contact with a pure devotee, it alters your path. Because you have the opportunity to be inquisitive. You have the opportunity to practice. You have the opportunity to become more spiritual. So what happens is when you take on spiritual life, your karma gets deduced. And what happens is because you develop a sober mind, your ability to execute free will becomes more clearer. So you guys are all very fortunate. Krishna's not like, okay, this is set in your way and this is what's going to happen. Yeah, he knows what's going to happen, but you have a free will. You can choose. Whatever decisions you make has a reaction. For every action, there's a reaction. So if now you decide to just have Gaur Aarti, just ignore everything that I said, it's like, okay, it was a nice class, I'm going to go home, go to sleep and wake up for tomorrow, then there's a reaction for that. But then if you go for Gaur Aarti and then you go home and you reflect and meditate, and that's what Krishna says. Krishna says, hear these words, meditate upon it, reflect on it, think of it, and then make your decision. Now, if you do that, then you'll get a different result. So we all have to be responsible for our choices and decisions. For every choices and decisions we make, there's a reaction. Any other question? Come on.
When some of the gurus saying that it's written in your fate.
Hmm?
The gurus say to you that it's written in your fate.
Yeah.
And you know,
That you're gonna.
harm this or something. So that's not true then.
No, free will is there. And then sometimes the thing is, other than free will, sometimes you may have to go through a certain experience. But the beauty, and this says it in the Bhagavatam, that sometimes we may see a pure devotee, we may see someone that is externally suffering or undergoing a certain situations and circumstances, but internally, because they're always thinking of Krishna, meditating on Krishna, have that connection with Krishna, so internally they're not suffering.
What I get is you go to the pain or something, but if you chant, it will go easier.
Yes, you'll go through, it'll deduce the karma. So sometimes you may experience, yeah, You may experience, I experience this a lot when I'm walking, I bump my leg to a door or something, whatever. Now, if you weren't practicing Krishna consciousness, if you weren't chanting, and if you weren't really sincere in this path, it could get so much worse. So Krishna is so merciful. It's not that he takes all your karma away, but he reduces the karma. So that pain isn't as severe as it once was. And that's nice, because you still have to learn. And learning helps you to become detached. Otherwise, reality is we're all attached to something, right? Are we attached? Yes or no? Oh, wow. More pure devotees. Come on, don't be shy. Just raise your hands. We're all attached. Yeah, we're all attached. Any other question? One final question maybe, and then we can just do some kirtan before Guru Arati. One final question, go on. Who's going to be the one that's going to help us all? Non-attachment, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so we put a lot of emphasis into detachment, but when I say detachment, it's non-attachment, not getting attached to things. Okay. 3. So I'll count up to 3. If no one has a question, we'll end it there. 3. Go on, one more question. You can ask me. Okay.
No, I was just going to rephrase your question to ask, like, so destiny, and when you said free will.
That's a deep topic. We can answer that question. But let's give other people, one of you a chance. Does anyone have a final question? Okay, fantastic. How did I realize this was my calling? Because Krishna took everything away from me. So Krishna is so merciful. I was listening to this particular lecture. The thing is, in our life, we hold on to so much and we carry so much. And as a result of it, it's that our visions become very blurry. And we're not really able to know ourselves and know what it is that we're supposed to be doing. But bit by bit, time by time, slowly what happens is that we become frustrated with material world, material life. And at some point what happens is, they say that the 2 most important days in your life is the day that you're born and the day that you find out why. And that day when you ask why is the day that you become so frustrated. So frustrated that you cannot even begin to understand that day is the day that Krishna will come to you. And he'll be like, okay, now that you're frustrated, now I want your attention. Now I'm ready to show you what life is all really about. Yeah, they slowly start to detach themselves, or non-attachment, as was mentioned. You stop looking externally and you start looking within. That's the day. And that day will come for all of us, because we cannot take shelter of the things around us. We can only take shelter of Krishna and Srila Prabhupada and his books. So with that being said, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. So in 5 minutes, there'll be Gaur Arti. So please, and then also candle offering. There's a queue there. So not Gaur Arti, there'll be Damodash to come first, and then Gaur Arti. Hare Krishna.
담배 먹고 갈 때까지 이거 맞아. 저희는 맞네. 맞다.
Is it done with the rest?
Tell everyone to sit down.
Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming to have beautiful darshan of their lordships. If everyone could please take a seat, as much as they can, please, for Damodarastakam. Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Rajamanam Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Grivam Damodaram Bhaktivedanta Muhusvasvakam Patrireka Sita Grivam Damodaram Bhaktivedanta Iti Driksvalilave Ananda Kunde Svagosham Nivajantam Bhakyapayantam Iti Driksvalilave Ananda Kunde Svagosham Nivajantam Bhakyapayantam
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. From your heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. sorry. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki. Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki. Giri Govardhan ki. Shri Shri Gaunitai ki. Dharma ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. So now we'll say the Premadwani prayers. So when I say ki, you say Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satashishi Mad His Divine Grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajikacharya Stotra Satashishi Mad His Divine Grace. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki. Ananta Gauti Vaishnavrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki. Vajbhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki. Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki. Ayodhya Dham ki. Jagannath Puri Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki. Jamuna Mai ki. Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, so the arati is not quite finished. We'll sing the Nrsimhadev prayers now. So if there's available space, you can take a seat. And we'll sing these prayers for protection.
Dr. Prahlad Maharaj ki Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Haribo! So Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to Bhaktivedanta Manor, evening kirtan. So we're going to be having kirtan from now until 9:30 when the curtain opens at 9 till 9:30. So yeah, I'd really recommend and suggest that you stay. It's very wonderful and nice. Thank you all so much for joining and being here. Hare Krishna.
So we can make a space. The kirtaners will sit underneath here so everyone can gather around. And we'll create a space for the kirtan.
Cushion? Thanks, Ashish.
विष्णुपदाय कृष्णापृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम Ramo 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
So, Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for coming for Sunday night kirtan. This past week has been a very auspicious week. Of course, we're in the month of Kartik, but also on top of that, we celebrated Govardhan Puja, the day on which Lord Krishna shelters the residents of Vrindavan by holding Govardhan with his, is it left hand or right hand? Left hand, no? Left hand pinky finger. So Giriraj Govardhan, the mountain of mountains, is lifted to protect the residents of Vrindavan, and also we celebrated, or rather we acknowledged and we meditated and we reflected upon the disappearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who, basically we wouldn't be here without him, and we owe of course, debt, but we are grateful in a mood of thinking that Srila Prabhupada gave us a house in which all of us can live. You know, there's all different types of devotees. There's shaved devotees, non-shaved devotees. There's Vrindavan-loving kirtan devotees. There's non-Vrindavan-loving kirtan devotees. There's so many different types of devotees. But Prabhupada created a house in which we could all live. You know, all hoodie-wearing, all of us. So, Srila Prabhupada was very kind and accepting, and in that mood of creating a house for us all to live, we can pray to Srila Prabhupada that he keeps us in his house, keeps us somehow in the other, serving within his house, because that's the most wonderful, blissful, fortunate place to be, to serve within the house of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nice and loud, everyone together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Everyone please chant, please chant. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Everyone, nice and loud, please together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. One more time, all together. Haribol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare All right, let's hear it, let's hear it. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna Krishna, I can't hear you. Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna.
Sankirtan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Jai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Sure. Yeah. We can play one more.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare So everyone, the darshan will open soon. We'll again have an opportunity to offer a lamp to Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda and the other deities. So before you'll be given a candle, we'll wash your hands with the achman. That achman is not to be drunk, it's to wash your hands. So please wash your hands, don't drink the water. Although it's drinkable, but don't drink it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, the words. Give me the words. Namami Swara Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajmanam. Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajmanam. Namamishwaram Sachit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajmanam. Same thing. Yashodabhiyo lokha ladavamanam Yashodabhiyo lokha ladavamanam Param Risrama Sramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasramasra Paramristramatyāntato drutagopya Namameswaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Rudantam Muhurnetra Yogmamrijantam Karam Bhoja Yogmena Satankanetram Rudantam Muhurnetra Yogmamrijantam Karam Bhoja Yogmena Satankanetram Shvasakampa Srirekha Kakanta Moho Shvasakampa Trirekha Kakanta Stitagraivam Damodaram Bhaktivedam Stitagraivam Damodaram Bhaktivedam Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namameswaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam Iti Driksvalilabir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantama Kyapayantam Iti Driksvalilabir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajantama Kyapayantam Tadiesitāgesu bhaktirjitātvam Esitāgesu Tadiesitāgesu bhaktirjitātvam Puna premata samshata vritti vande Puna premata samshata vritti vande Namami Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Rajamanam Namami Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Rajamanam Varam Deva Mokshamna Moksham Vademba Nachanyam Vrinehamba Reshadapiha Varam Deva Mokshamna Moksham Vademba Nachanyam Vrinehamba Reshadapiha Varam Deva Mokshamna Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya vira stam ki manyai Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya vira Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam ki manyai Idam te vapurnata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam Namami Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Rajamanam Namami Swaram Satchidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Rajamanam Idam te mukham bojam आत्यन्तनीलैर्वृतं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या इदं ते मुखाम्बोजम् आत्यन्तनीलैर्वृतं कुन्तलैः स्निग्धरक्तैश्च गोप्या मोश्चुम्बितां बिम्बा रक्ताधरं मे मोश्चुम्बितां बिम्बा रक्ताधरं मे मनस्य विरास्तमालां लक्षलाभये मनस्य विरास्तमालां लक्षलाभये नमामि स्वरां सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलां गोकुले व्रजमाना नमामि स्वरां सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलां गोकुले व्रजमाना नमो देवदामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाब्धिमग्न नमो देवदामोदर अनंत नमो देवदामोदर अनंत विष्णु प्रसीद प्रभो दुःख जलाब्धिमग्न कृपा दृष्टि वृष्टि दीनं बतानु गृहाने समामज्ञ मे दक्षि दृश्य दृष्टि वृष्टि दीनं बतानु गृहाने समामज्ञ मे कृपा दृष्टि वृष्टि दीनं बतानु गृहाने समामज्ञ मे दक्षि दृश्य दीनं बतानु गृहाने समामज्ञ मे नमामि स्वरां सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलां गोकुले व्रजमानम् नमामीश्वरां सच्चिदानन्दरूपं लसत्कुण्डलां गोकुले Gokule Rajamanam Namami Saraswati Kuberatmajao Bada Murtyeva Yadva Tvayamochitao Bhakti Bhajo Kritau Cha Kuberatmajao Bada Murtyeva Yadva Tvayamochitao Bhakti Bhajo Kritau Cha Yadva Tvayamochitao Bhakti Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Prayacha Namokshe Graho Mesida Modareha Namokshe Graho Mesida Modareha Namami Swaran Sachidananda Rupam Rasaturnalam Gokule Rajamana Namami Swaran Sachidananda Rupam Rasakundalam Gokule Rajamana Namaste Sudamne Radipti Damne Dvadiyodarayata Vishwasyadamne Namaste Sudamne Radipti Damne Dvadiyodarayata Namaste Sudamne Vishwasyadamne Namaste Sudamne O Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Radhikaye Tvadiya Namo Radhikaye Tvadiya Priyaye Namo
tobhyam. Tadiya priyaye namo nantalilaya te. Namo Radhika Tvadiya priyaye namo nantalilaya devaya tobhyam. Namo Radhika priya Namami Swaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Namami Swaram Sachidanandarupam Lasatkundalam Gokule Brajamanam. Jaya Radha Damodara Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Gokulananda Sri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gaura Neta Jaya Gaura Neta. Jaya Gaura Neta Jaya Gaura Neta. Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Vrindavan. Krishna Balaram. Jaya Krishna Balaram. Krishna Balaram. Jaya Krishna Balaram. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaur, Hari Bol. Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nita Gaur, Hari Bol. Shri Radha Damodar ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Namaste Narasingaya. Namaste Narasingaya. Well, Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Ito Nrsimha Parato Nrsimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha Yato Yato Yamitato Nrsimha Shingde Bhagavan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Shri Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Shri Harinam Guru ki Jai, Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Jai, Bhaktivedanta Manor ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Sham, Anturi Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Ho Premanande. Thank you all so much for coming for Sunday night kirtan. Next week is I believe, the last Sunday kirtan before the end of Kartik, so please tell a friend and come. And those of you that are going to Vrindavan will come back to Vrindavan, then safe journeys and see you soon. Make a swift exit from the temple room because we finished late, and so those of you who need to do so. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Bye tonight.
Thank you.
Mataji, be careful, it's wet here, yeah? It's going to get gross. That's a lot. Can you do me a favor? Can you bring the mop out, please? Yes, please. Be careful, it's wet. Oh, yes. Bring your cup, they don't take it.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
have
we
to
leave it
sit
like that.
on the whole night.
That I don't have system ones.
Does it not have it off? Where is it plugged in?
Yeah, that's right. Check.
Still working? Is it still working?
It is still working. No, it has.